Hello and welcome into MMA Live. My name is Todd Grisham. Happy New Year, everyone. And we've got a special gift for you, a top 5 countdown. We all love those, don't we? In this case, it's the top 5 light heavyweights of all time. And for that list, we bring in from Las Vegas, Nevada, Brett Okamoto, MMA writer for ESPN.com. Brett, let's start with your 5th greatest light heavyweight champion of all time.
Starting off the list, I've got the former light heavyweight champ, Rashad Evans. He's only lost to 2 guys, John Jones and Lyoto Machida. He started off his career without a single loss in his first 14 fights. Then he kind of ran into that Machida era, a guy who no one really knew how to fight at the time. And then he ran into John Jones. So this guy has really beat up every single person that he's come into face. He's fought guys like Chuck Liddell. He's fought guys like Tito Ortiz. He absolutely demolished Phil Davis last year. In January. He's just had trouble when he's run into these guys that no one has been able to beat. Machida when he was at that time, and now, of course, John Jones. So he's number 5 on our list, and I think that he's still got some good fights left in him.
Well, there's been several fighters that have beaten Rashad. Maybe we'll see one of those names on your list coming up. Who's number 4?
At number 4, I got Randy Couture. Randy could be higher on this list, and I'm sure that he's higher on other lists that are just all-time fighters. But when we're talking about weight classes, light heavyweight, Randy kind of fluctuated between heavyweight and light heavyweight, but he had some great light heavyweight fights. In fact, I think that he's more remembered as a light heavyweight than a heavyweight. He had that trilogy with Chuck Liddell. He fought Tito Ortiz there. He fought Vitor Belfort twice there. Randy Couture pushing the sport into the mainstream. And he did a lot of this at a time when most of us thought that he was past his prime. He was an old man, so that makes it even more impressive. So that's where I've got Couture.
All right, we're in the top 3 now. Who's your 3rd greatest?
3rd greatest is John Jones, and certainly he's got plenty of time to get higher on this list. He's only 25 years old. He holds the belt right now. We all know about John Jones. The one loss to Matt Hamill was not a loss. It was a disqualification on a somewhat weird ruling when he was throwing some illegal elbows, and I thought that the referee could have handled the fight a little bit differently. This guy's basically undefeated, and he's undefeated in a very dominant way. John Jones, he is the future of the sport. He'll probably be number 1 on this list eventually.
So it's not a matter of if, but when John Jones moves up. But who's your 2nd greatest?
Tito Ortiz, man, is number 2, and this is a guy who lost 6 of his last 7 fights. But really, you got to look before that, what he meant to the sport. Really, his rivalry with UFC President Dana White was very important for the sport, just because Tito really pushed this into the mainstream. He got a lot of eyeballs drawn to this sport at a time when they really desperately needed that. And he was another guy who did this for a very long time. You know, a guy who really, the sport kind of passed him by, but he was able to stay kind of competitive against this new breed of fighters. So I got a lot of respect for Tito, and he's number 2.
So I guess for you, it's not how you finish, it's how you start, right? With the losing streak there at the end, 6 of 7 for Tito. Who's your number 1 fighter? Surely he didn't end his career on a losing streak as well, did he?
Actually, he did, you know, but this is a mixed martial arts. That's pretty much typical of everybody. And Chuck Liddell did lose 5 of his last 6 fights. He was almost pushed out of the sport. You don't want to say that, but, you know, this is a guy who would have kept competing, really, if he would have been allowed to. But the knockout losses kind of, you know, added up for him, and his chin was gone. But Chuck Liddell is the number 1 light heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. In his heyday, man, he was just a guy you didn't want to fight. Very intimidating, great takedown defense, and a lot of knockout power in that light heavyweight division. I think if you talk to a lot of people who follow the sport, even the new fans will say that they got in because of Chuck Liddell. And for that reason alone, I think that he deserves to be at the number 1 spot for right now. But as I said, keep an eye on John Jones. I think he'll creep up this list as the years go on.
Well, I guess the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali, lost 3 of his last 4 fights as well. So that's the way great careers sometimes end. Brett, thanks for the information. And for those of you watching right now, to see the complete list compiled by all of our MMA experts, become an ESPN Insider today. Until next time, I'm Todd Grisham. Keep fighting.